Hello and welcome back to week 2, episode 2 of Outside the Box podcast, your weekly football update show. This week we're going to be talking a little bit about our weekly predictions, just to tally up the points for the year, and we're also going to develop on some topics such as the new appointment of Claudio Ranieri at Fulham. We're going to be briefly touching on the Nations League, what it is, and how far England can get, hopefully. And we're also going to be touching on the latest update that VAR is being approved, possibly, for the 2019-2020 Premier League season. And we're going to develop some of the points that have been spoken about this week, such as the Charlie Austin rant. But we're going to get onto that after everyone's made their predictions, boys. What are we thinking?
We're kicking off with Brighton Leicester.
Makes sense.
Yeah, let's go for it. All right, I've gone for 1-1, surprisingly, as a Leicester fan.
Me and Ted
come on,
agreeing
Ted.
on something straight away.
Whoa.
I've gone
agreeing
1-1 as well.
I've gone 1-1.
No, you've not. I can't be the only one back in Leicester.
You're back in Leicester away
Yeah,
at Brighton.
2-1.
You just don't score
It's
many
head over
goals at the
heart,
minute,
though,
do
isn't
you?
it?
You don't score that many goals. I think Brighton.
Yeah, well, last week we had Maddison and Maguire out there, didn't we? Hopefully they'll be back. But I just don't know if they will be.
Brighton is solid as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think
they are
1-0's quite generous.
Glenn.
Nah,
these
it
days.
is.
Glenn
It is.
Murray's going to score.
It's only
you
week
know.
2, so I thought I had to kind of still back the boys, but you might be right with the 1-0. We'll see.
Nah, I think 1-1's probably, a fair
Wouldn't be a
result.
bad result for Leicester either.
It's early
I'd like to see
kick-off, right?
Leicester win, though.
I
Early
think
kick-off.
it's early
Yeah.
kick-off,
Then
yeah.
we got a couple of the 3 o'clocks. Everton, Cardiff.
We've all gone for Everton wins. haven't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
all gone
3-0
for
Everton.
I've gone 3-0.
Yeah, it's big,
Look
man.
at that, we're all going
Oh,
the same.
Smashed it.
I've only gone for 2. I've gone for 2-0.
Ah.
But to be fair, I think as a general consensus, we all agree that Cardiff aren't going to get anything there.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if I put Cardiff to win in any of my predictions for the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
season.
Yeah.
If they win, it'll be a surprise to me.
Yeah. I've got Gylfi Sigurdsson to score all 3 as well. So.
Do you reckon?
All
Sigurdsson
three.
hat
He's in the
trick.
fantasy team as
Big
well.
claim.
That is a
Fulham,
big claim.
Southampton.
I've gone for Ranieri winning his first game.
Yeah.
So-
2-1. I couldn't say.
What is going on?
I've gone
here?
2-1 as
We
well.
all got
I've
the same-
gone 2-1.
Yo, I swear
We've
this
got the
isn't
same
planned.
predictions.
Oh, this is not the best prediction show for all guessing.
Yeah, I
is it?
know. We're going to get the same
Yeah.
points, aren't we?
Right, next.
Man U Palace,
2-1.
Ooh, I've gone 2-0.
2-0.
I've gone 2-1, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
2-1 as well.
No, I've gone 2-0.
Do you know what? A quick touch on Palace. This is a side note. How frustrating is it to watch the
Oh my
Isn't it?
God.
Yeah, but
Isn't it?
he is quality, though.
I do think-
He's quality, but he's frustrating to watch. Like, he's got the talent and everything, but my God, pass the ball, man. Like, he
feel-
holds the ball for so long when he can easily offload it.
In it, he feels so sorry for himself as well. Like, I understand he gets fouled a lot, but like,
So does Hazard. Yeah.
so does Hazard.
He's a
Hazard
good
gets literally there's
Hazard's got
7
the right
shades
attitude.
kicked out of him every single game, and if anything, it's a compliment to him. There's a reason people are trying to bring you down, and it's because you're so good. But like, when he comes out and he's giving it all, I need more protection in that. It's like we are still playing a contact sport, like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
true.
just, like you said, it is frustrating just watching him carry the ball for so long, thinking
Yeah.
like, there's a reason you might not be scoring that many goals because the ball doesn't leave your feet.
Yeah.
Who's he going to put the ball into though?
Yeah,
Benteke?
but
But anyone other than him trying to run through 11 players is
True, but you
is
can
better.
easily get a little 1-2 going with one of like Andros Townsend.
Take
or
him out of that
something.
team, though.
For something like that, like he doesn't need to try and do everything on his own.
True.
If you take him out of the team, though, I think they're going down.
Yeah,
Their
100%.
record without him is
100%.
appalling.
100%.
Like really,
Yeah.
really
It's just,
bad.
it'd be nice to see him try and play slightly differently so they can incorporate him into the game, but not just have him playing by himself.
If he wants a big move as well, he's going to have to show that he can like pass as well as
100%.
run with it. Because I mean, if obviously I know he's probably not going to go back to United after everything that happened there, but like, could you really imagine Mourinho having a player that doesn't pass the ball like that as well as frequently as he doesn't pass the ball in his team?
100%.
Yeah.
Watford, Liverpool.
I've gone for a goal first here. I've gone for 3-3.
Ooh,
I like your
3-3.
picking Watford.
I think Watford they're a good side. I think they could do
I've
well.
gone 4-1 Liverpool.
Whoa,
I just
blimey.
think we're going to see some disgusting play.
I've gone 3-1 Liverpool.
I've gone 2-0, which is quite surprising because I would actually think both of them are quite high goal scorers, but I just thought that at Watford's place they might be sitting back a little bit.
It was
Liverpool-
3-3 last season, weren't it? Emre Can overhead kick.
Yeah,
that
true.
goal is crazy.
I'm liking Watford.
Yeah.
I'm liking Watford at the minute as well. Like I feel like if anyone's going to do the upset, it could be them. But I just don't think.
I think Watford look sharp. I don't think they're capable of beating Liverpool.
Yeah,
I think
that's the fair
But
point.
the thing with Liverpool is I do think this season they've looked they're getting better results, but they've looked nowhere near as convincing as they did last season. Like
No.
when they win,
They
they
have
just.
defensively.
But yeah, honestly, we'll probably speak a bit more about this later. But like, I think Van Dijk's probably the best player in the league at the minute. Like, I'm actually going to put it out there.
Yeah.
I love Hazard. I love him, but I actually think Van Dijk's the best player in the
Yeah,
league at
you've
the
got to
minute.
think of it in terms of if you take players out of a team, what are they after? And take Van Dijk out of Liverpool, and they're just conceding all the time.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
City, West Ham. Well, I should say West Ham City.
Yeah.
Man City, that is.
I've gone 4-1 Man City.
I've gone 3-1 Man City.
I've gone
Two.
3-0 Man City.
2-0. Everyone's gone for the City
You
win.
got it back
I can
'em.
see West Ham maybe scoring. I think, after, especially because Arnautovic has been talking about leaving and that, it's one of them things where he just scores and, like, the commentator's going to be like, oh, there's questions around where he's at the minute,
Yeah.
but he's still scoring goals,
You
kind
can
of
see
thing.
it already.
You
You
know,
can see it.
yeah, when
You got
there's,
your bets on, ain't you? Like?
when there's articles like that in the newspaper, I'm
Yeah.
always like, he's going to
Nah.
score at the
Such a
weekend.
typical bit of commentary in it, just
Yeah.
for it to follow that.
Little fantasy eye team bookie. Get Felipe Anderson in your team.
Yeah,
'cause
I
he's
like
gonna
Felipe
get
Anderson.
I've had-
even
coming into
assist or a
form,
goal.
he
I've had
he
Arnie
looks
since the start of
sharp.
the season. He's
He's
done
been
well. too.
smashing.
That's the
it.
thing. Even with Arnautovic in form and Felipe Anderson coming into form, Man City, they
It's Man City, innit?
Man City.
You can't win the game if you don't get the ball.
It's like I'm not gonna
Just
back
one way of
Cardiff
putting
and I'm
it.
gonna back City pretty much
Yeah,
every
it's like
prediction.
I
so-
can't think of a game where I wouldn't back City. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very true.
Spurs, Chelsea.
Big game of the
Yeah,
weekend.
Yep.
You
I've gone
know,
2-2.
I've gone 1-1.
I've gone 3-2 to Spurs.
0-0.
Controversial.
0-0.
Nil.
You've all gone draws.
I
That's
just don't-
boring.
You always do one boring game, and it tends to be the big clubs.
Nah, Burnley Newcastle's coming up. I'd save
Yeah,
the
it's
boring game.
9-0. Goal fest. Goal fest.
I honestly couldn't tell you what I think is going to happen in that game. Like, is Eriksen back? If Eriksen's back, it's kind of a different
Dunno.
game.
Ali's
really.
back.
Like, Ali was playing well for England as well at the weekend.
Kane got
scored.
A goal and
yeah.
assist, sort of assist.
You know,
Mm.
It's one of them games, and you don't really know what's going to go on, especially with Chelsea. Like, they look like they can concede, but they just seem to get a result all the time. Like, well, obviously, I've been winning like pretty much all the time
Unbeaten.
this season. So, I'd be surprised. Well, if there's a team that's going to end their unbeaten streak, like Spurs would be one that could do
Yeah,
it. Definitely.
Yeah.
And then we've got Wolves against Huddersfield. Thrilling game there.
Yeah, I went 1-0 Wolves.
Yeah, same.
I went 3-1 to Wolves.
I went 3-0 Wolves.
I just don't think they've got as much of like a out and out. I don't know what it is about Wolves. I don't feel so much like they're going to score a lot of goals whenever I'm watching them play. They just seem like they create a lot of chances, but they just don't
Yeah.
really seem to get the ball.
I do
over the
agree,
line.
but I think as well with Wolves at home to Huddersfield, I think this is a chance for them to go at a team.
Yeah,
I don't
true.
think Huddersfield are capable of dealing with the quality that Wolves have.
Traore's so quick as well.
So I'd like to think that Wolves will go into that game wanting to play, wanting to win. I reckon they'll get a few goals, but at that expense, I think Huddersfield would just slip one.
Yeah,
Wolves
to be
up-
fair, well,
But I think they'll dominate.
I mean, Wolves are sat in 11th, but they've not won in 4.
They'll definitely want to pick up a bit of momentum now.
Yeah,
no
100%.
international break for like a few months,
Exactly.
is it? So
Yeah.
they'll be wanting to get a few
home
points in
game
before
against one of the
Christmas
bottom
and that.
teams.
Yeah, I
this is
reckon,
an
yeah.
ideal
They'll
chance
have
to
enough.
find some form.
But is the pressure too much? That's what we're going to find
Well,
out
we'll find
on
out this
Sunday.
weekend.
I think Wolves winning's a good bet, but I'm struggling to predict the score myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got Monday Night Football, Burnley, Newcastle.
Absolute belter to round off the game week,
Yeah.
and I have gone for 0-0.
So have I.
So
I've got 2-1 Burnley.
2-1. Oh.
and I'll watch the game, and I know the whole time I'll be watching it, I'll be thinking, what am I doing
Yeah.
watching this?
Yeah.
But it's Monday Night Football, in it, so you got to tune
It's
in.
got to be watched.
All right. Predictions in. We'll tally up the points at some point next week.
Bournemouth Arsenal.
Just
Yeah,
leaving that one out.
Do we speak about?
No, we didn't.
What?
I don't think we did.
All the Bournemouth and Arsenal fans listening, Louis.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
no.
Apologies.
Just think about them for a
I don't
second.
know about Bournemouth fans, but...
Uh,
I got 2-2.
I've
I
got 2-2.
I went
What?
2-1 Arsenal.
Have you been looking at like?
Honestly,
Well,
if
I've
I
been
get
looking
no
at
there's,
this
been,
is a
there's
joke.
been a fair few agreements here, which
Yeah.
don't normally happen. So
we'll see next week. It'll
But-
probably be a pretty close week.
It'd
then,
be-
I
yeah,
think.
it's
yeah,
tight.
Bournemouth will be looking to find some form again. Arsenal looking sharp.
What was it? What was the last Arsenal result? They
Palace 1-0. Was that the last one?
Yeah, I'm still like backing Arsenal to continue how they're playing. I just don't think they've got the quality at the back.
Yeah, they definitely don't.
they seem like they have to have at least about 50 minutes of playing before they start doing anything of note recently.
Yeah.
Like
The stats in favour of them in terms of second half play is pretty mad.
Yeah,
it
Like,
was
they
1-1
score-
against Wolves last game as well, by the way.
Was it?
just-
Yeah,
that was
but
at
they're
home.
scoring
They got
most
lucky
of
in
their
that
goals
game.
in,
Yeah,
in the
really.
second half. Like they,
'cause
you know, if they
It's
can
for
hold
about
out
the
in the
last
first
15
half,
minutes, I think, as well, isn't it? Like, they score...
Yeah.
I was
plenty of goals
I was
there.
saying if they come up against a big team, like I think when they were playing Liverpool the other day, well, it was the other week. I was saying Liverpool need to be like about 3-0 up at half time because Arsenal just shit goals in the first half, but then in the second half they come out like
They just
another
turn
team.
up.
Yeah.
And obviously after the like Mane goal, and that was probably like the thing that gave them the opportunity to be able to come back into it in the second half. So.
Definitely.
Apologies, Bournemouth and Arsenal fans. I won't forget you again next week. Yeah, so we're cashing in predictions next week. We're going to move on to Fulham and our favourite human being in the world. Well, for three of us, Claudio Ranieri.
definitely.
I'm so glad he's got a job back in the Premier.
Yeah, so
so
am I.
glad. Even if it is with Fulham,
Yeah, I know.
I want to see him storm it again.
Yeah, I'm backing him for a win as well.
Yeah.
You know, home
Yeah.
against Southampton, I think that's a good game for him to come in.
Yeah,
Yeah, the-
very good VA.
the pla-
Very, very good game.
The players are going to want to win. They want to win for their new manager. I think it's a recipe for a win.
I do want to say before we start talking about Ranieri that I do feel a bit sorry for Jurkanovic though, because he got sacked from Watford when he got them promoted before he'd even had he even played a game for? I don't think he even managed a game for them in the Premier League, and they replaced
And
him.
they got rid of him.
And then obviously,
It's poor that.
how long's he? I know they've had a really bad start, but like if you look how they played last season, they had a really bad start. They were bottom of the league, and they ended up going on the 23 unbeaten run.
Yeah, I don't know if 12's a bit early to be. I don't know. It's just because they've lost the last 5, is it, or 6 maybe?
Not good.
Just the
record.
goals they can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing
Scored.
with Jurkanovic is every time I've watched him, I was kind of like, his philosophy is too good to be implementing on a team like Fulham. Like,
Especially in the league like the Premier League, where you know there's teams that are so sort of giant in comparison to them.
definitely. Because Bournemouth have taken, like, how many seasons to be able to start playing, like, the attacking kind of football that they're playing now? You have to, like, get used to the league, then you consolidate yourself as, like, a team that's hard to beat. So, like, you're getting points and that against teams, and then you start playing, like, your own football. And
Yeah, I
Jurkanovic
agree.
has kind of come into Fulham with a team of players that, like, not a lot of them have played in the Premier League before. And he's gone, we're going to play really attacking, nice, attractive football. And I do feel sorry for him because it's like nice to think that you can try and play that kind of way, but it just doesn't seem to work.
Yeah, and it was good to watch Fulham when they are playing this football, but like you can't have that. They've conceded 31 in 12
Yeah,
games.
I feel like they were trying
Like,
to.
you just can't. You
trying to-
can't.
Yeah.
You're not going to stay up if you're conceding an average of
No.
like 2.95
Yeah.
goals a
I feel
game.
like they were
it's-
trying to run before they could walk. Because
Yeah.
like when Bournemouth
Definitely.
got promoted, it was like a gradual thing. They didn't spend over 100 mil. They weren't like trying to boss it straight away. They
Yeah.
just took their time. Gradually got the
Yeah.
players in, improved the players they already had.
Who's going to slow them down though, Ted? Who's going to slow them down from running pace back to walking pace, and
Oh,
then
Matt
do the
Cloudy.
great escape?
And win the league next year.
I can see Fulham staying up with the right kind of gaffer because they've got good foundations really. Like I know their defense isn't great. They're like shipping goals, but if Ranieri can sort out their defense, they've got Mitrovic as a good outman. Like you can play a long ball to Mitrovic,
Yeah.
you can hold up the ball well, and Schürrle and Sessegnon on the wings is like Sessegnon's quick and he's got that like young kind of like you don't
Flair
know
about
what
it,
he's gonna
yeah.
do. Like he might take it past someone.
And
kind of
Schürrle's
thing.
played Premier League before. Like you know, they've got
and
the
World
right
Cup
players.
football and
They've got the
everything.
right players,
Schürrle.
World
but
Cup
you
winner.
know, Ranieri's got to come in and start with the back because that's where the problem lies.
100%.
If they solidify that back line, it will give them the chance to then start playing football.
Just stop making so many stupid mistakes.
I think he was chopping and
Just-
changing it
but
too
yeah.
much as well. He's used 3 different first choice goalkeepers this season. Like he's making changes at half time, like changing centre backs
Yeah.
like Mawson, Le Marchand, and Chambers and people.
You've
And
got to go. You've
got-
got to know who your number one is.
That's true.
You know.
And you can kind of swap your teams around a lot when you can, like your attackers and things like that, but your defence needs
Yeah,
to be.
when we won the league, like it was because we had the most settled team in the league. Back line, like Simpson and Morgan and everyone, like they just were
Everybody's
going to play
Simpson
week.
Simpson
in.
and
You
Morgan,
can't.
Exactly,
man.
they won the league.
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's what I
Thing is, though,
mean.
as well, Ranieri came in with the reputation as the Tinker Man.
Yeah.
You know, from his time at Chelsea and whatnot. Came in to Leicester, played like
Did the
same.
opposite.
Played the same 11 week in week out. Fortunately, didn't get any injuries, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, we got him straight from Greece where he was doing atrocious.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was so bad, and I'm not putting that down to him, but like it's not going to show you like you need a manager in form to come in to
Yeah, you
give
just
you
need the
that boost.
right
You
manager.
just need
with
the
your
right manager
team.
to
I
fit
mean,
the club.
even Gary Lineker tweeted. What did he tweet? It was like Claudio Ranieri question mark. Like,
Really, yeah.
really.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
And then
Could
obviously.
you imagine Gary Lineker criticising your managing style after what he did at Valencia? Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I've won the league with Danny
Nah.
Simpson and Wes Morgan. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is
No,
with-
It
before
knows
he
when
came
he
to
joined
Leicester.
Leicester,
Yeah,
but then
yeah,
to be
yeah,
fair,
yeah.
he did make a joke of it when he joined Fulham.
Oh,
He
right,
tweeted
okay.
the same
Tweeted the
thing
same thing.
on that day,
Oh, right, okay.
and obviously
Well, yeah, in it. I mean, they'd lost the Faroe Islands or something. That was how he lost his job with Greece, wasn't
Yeah,
it? But,
yeah.
it's one of
Yeah.
them ones. We'll
Good
have to
luck
see
to
how
him.
he does with Fulham.
Yeah,
hope
no,
he does well.
I want to see him do well, and I'd like to see Fulham play well as well.
There's
I think
teams
that's
that are
something.
worse than Fulham. Like, if they get a decent run of games, they should be like heading in the right direction. At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah,
Their goal this season's definitely just stay up,
yes,
and then See what
It's
you
not
get from
all
there.
doom and gloom yet, Fulham fans. Keep your heads up.
Have we already played Fulham?
Could be worse. Could be a Sunderland fan.
Not yet.
eh,
I looked.
Yeah.
It's in the new year.
We're on the way back, mate. I swear.
Ben?
Yeah, no. At least Ranieri will get a nice little welcome
Ovation.
back to the King Power
Yeah,
as
it'd be a
well.
nice
when we play 'em.
reception for him there.
Next up, we've got the Nations League. I'm sure everyone's been tuning in this week.
Yeah, I've actually got a couple little questions that I wanted to fire at you boys about the Nations
Oh,
League. I want to test your
okay.
knowledge.
Questions. Okay.
I mean, I don't know how. I'll start with the easier one. I don't know if you'll get it, Ben, but we'll see. We'll see. What did all three goal scorers in the Nation League in the England-Croatia game have in common? So Lingard, Harry Kane, and Andre Kramaric.
They've all played for Leicester.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, you should have known it.
I was
It's
thinking,
bound
and then
to
I was
be-
like, Kramaric played for Leicester, Lingard was on loan, and then I was getting to Kane, and he beat me
Yeah.
to
I
it.
didn't know Lingard had played for
We're just,
Yeah,
you know,
he
we
came
just
on
play
loan
many
to us.
games.
nah. He was
No.
on loan, I think.
Yeah, and Harry Kane came on loan as
Oh
well.
yeah, I can
He was
remember
awful on loan as well.
What,
Yeah.
Kane?
Harry Kane
He was like
scored
a poor-
one goal, I believe.
Poor man's Chris Wood. Yeah.
He
Kane was
wasn't
getting outshone by Vardy
Yeah.
for 2 seasons.
He loves
Again,
picking
he
the
still
ball
is,
deep
isn't he?
now, innit?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, and then I got another question. This is a tough one. Like, I'll be very surprised if you get this. Which England player has featured the most times in a row as a substitute?
Ooh.
I'll tell you the number's 14.
He's a current player.
Current pundit
Wow.
A pundit.
on BT Sport, I believe. I think commentator, co-commentator, not one of the big ones.
Jermaine Genius.
No. Don't you think it's crazy? 14 times in a row as a substitute.
Yeah, it's pretty
Who
mad.
is it?
Hold on.
Oh, he's going to think about it.
I want,
Yeah, a
I
few
want it.
seconds.
Can we have a clue?
Can you give us the era?
Yeah. How old is he now?
I think he's like 40.
So just
Fair-
retired not long
Yeah,
ago.
like 34. He played in Germany.
Owen Hargreaves.
Yeah.
Ah,
Hey.
smashed it. Smashed it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I won't-
Ted's
don't-
question time.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
we'll make
cracking.
the most of that.
Yeah, fair. Not bad.
Yeah, what do we think then? Because the draw is next month, I believe, and the final's not played till June next year.
Yeah.
Well,
It's-
who are the 4 teams left in it? Portugal, Switzerland,
Netherlands.
us, and
And Holland.
Holland.
Yeah.
We should really be looking at that, saying that we can. Like, that's
100%.
achievable. Like,
Yeah, we should be approaching this, this Final Four and saying
We
we
can
can
win
win,
it.
this.
of all 4 of them, obviously, from an England point of view, I think Holland's the team that I'd want to come up against the least.
I don't know. It's in Portugal, though. So I think home team advantage, all the fans will be backing them. I think you want to play Switzerland.
Yeah, you want to play
Definitely.
Switzerland. You do want to draw Switzerland because Shaqiri's there, out man there.
Well, we're odds on 7-4. I've always got to bring the bookies into this. But, 7-4, Portugal second favourites, 9-4, Netherlands, and then Switzerland. But everyone's got decent
I
odds.
think all 4 teams have got a chance there.
I think if you give our players another 6 months, though, like, you don't know what kind of goal scoring form Kane's going to be in at the end of the season. Like,
He's usually
June
on
time, he's normally
fire.
scoring about 4 goals a game by that point.
Yeah. He's
Like-
a slow starter, isn't he? But once it gets to the point where he's into his stride and he ain't really coming out of it.
All he can see is the golden boot, and he just wants goals.
And to be fair, it depends on who you draw, because I don't mean to do Switzerland a discredit, but I'd much rather draw them in the semis and then play Portugal and Netherlands in the final, because
Yeah.
it means we can get further, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
like I say, you
You'd
don't
like
want
to
to
think
discredit
so.
Switzerland, but if we don't draw Switzerland, Portugal or Netherlands are, which means, odds on, really, you're going to end up playing, say, Holland in the semi-final and then Portugal in the
Wouldn't
final.
write Switzerland off, though. Needed 4 goals when they were 2-0 down to Belgium.
Very true.
Yeah,
pulled off
Belgium as
5.
well.
Belgium, yeah, quality team.
Very true.
Yeah, to be fair, when you're qualifying in that manner, I don't think,
And
Well-
but the thing is nobody can make a prediction now for June because you
No.
don't know who's
And that's the
going to be.
thing.
Like,
That's if say for example that was the World Cup and they've gone and done that, and you think, wow, they've got a bit of form, they can go and push on a bit. But by the time that next game comes around, you've lost all your momentum, because everyone's played like however many games for your club. You've played friendlies in between that. So
what do you actually think of the Nations League? I think I'm quite enjoying it.
I'm enjoying
like,
it as well.
I mean,
it,
when it interrupts the Premier League, I'm like, oh, I hate international break, but I don't actually mind the games when they're on. It's much, much, much better than friendlies.
yeah, it provides a competitive edge, don't it?
yeah,
I think it's really
100%.
good for
It's
the
like you're
players
playing
as
for
well.
something. Yeah.
It means that like when they're together, they're like working at their hardest. Because I imagine like when the England squad were meeting up for like an away game in San Marino, they'd kind of be like, "What are we doing
Yeah.
here? Like
What's the
this is
point?"
so lethargic football."
there's
kind
no
of thing.
pressure. Yeah,
But when they've got to come up against Spain, or when they're coming back from 1-0 down against Croatia or whatever, you can see how buzzing they are like as a team. So I like that. Like normally England don't have that kind of relationship that like some other countries have. But I feel like the Nations League's
Yeah, and
kind
it's
of
good
sorting it out.
because it gives you another competitive league, another competitive trophy to win.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine first ones to win it go down in history.
Oh, yeah.
Start as we mean to go on.
Yeah, definitely.
But you don't qualify for the World Cup at the minute through it, do you?
No, it's for the Euros. You get an easier qualification.
Yeah,
Like
right.
you
So
get
it
a group.
benefits, it
You get a group of 5 instead of 6, and if you go out in that group, you get like the knockout. You get to go into like the knockout thing. So
Oh,
it's good
okay.
benefits.
Yeah.
100% worth investing time into. It's
yeah,
not
definitely,
like countries are going to throw it away, which is perfect because with friendlies,
I
a lot of
think
people don't seem bothered.
definitely
No.
benefited England for the Euros as well. Like beating Croatia, who knocked us out the World Cup, putting that behind us. Everyone
Yeah.
says we don't beat big clubs, big countries even. Beating Spain in a way,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
only
and
good for our future.
Kane's on like 20 goals already, and he's going to be playing against like I know obviously he's going to be playing against big teams. So it's going to be a bit harder for him to like reach Rooney's target or whatever. But I'd say it's much more of a big achievement if you score like your 53rd goal or whatever. You know, the one that makes him draw level with Rooney against Spain rather than like your 4th goal against
Luxembourg.
Macedonia or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
at
do
least
agree.
Definitely.
it puts the people like players on the international stage a little bit better.
Definitely.
And it's nice to see that England team, flourishing.
I
Like,
think
it
that
really
England
is.
team, honestly, the sky is the limit for them. Like they have like a different playing style to what England like are normally like. There's a little bit more flair in the team, and they all seem to really like each other. Like I do
Yeah.
honestly think like they can go as far as they want to go.
There's
as long
real
as they don't-
chemistry there, you can see.
do
And
what-
obviously, you've seen how much it meant to the team as well when they scored the 2 goals against Croatia. So,
Yeah, definitely.
like I say, sky's the limit. And it's nice to see Jadon Sancho getting a run in there.
I'd like, wow, I was so impressed with him. Like both games that we've seen him play, I was not sure what I was going to think about him. I knew that he'd been coming off the bench a little bit for Dortmund, so I was waiting to see like how.
Yeah, he's an out-and-out starter
But
at Dortmund now.
that's what I mean. He's playing all time now.
Got Player of the Month in the Bundesliga this month.
I rate him.
Smashing
So,
it.
you
I
know,
re-
he-
When was the last time you seen that?
yeah, exactly. Well, when was the last time really you seen English players going,
That's
young
what I mean.
English like
Abroad.
talent, going abroad and saying, "I'm going to take my chance."
Which is
here and do
perfect
something."
because that's such a motive for other players to do now because you see the amount of times they just get absolutely slandered in the media when they're an upcoming talent
yeah,
staying in England in a league where they're not going to flourish, where you can go
Exactly.
to the Bundesliga and do what Sancho's
and
doing.
all I've seen, in terms of media coverage of Sancho, Reece Nelson,
Reece Nelson as well. Yeah.
it's all positive.
Exactly.
The English media is singing their praises. They can't get enough of them.
Well,
Mm.
So
Defo's
it's
because
defo inclination for like other young players to say, "All right, I'm gonna
Why can't I do
chance
the
it
same,
over there.
yeah.
I'm gonna go over there." There's a lot to learn over there, definitely.
the choice for
in terms of
Mason
playing
Mount
time
was
as well.
like go to the Championship or just be in the reserves at Chelsea or whatever. Whereas like Sancho's like probably had the opportunity to either go on loan to a Championship team or just like stay in City's under 21s, and he was like, well, what's the point? Like if you go to the Bundesliga, you get first team opportunities against like good teams and not as good teams because the
Yeah.
lower half of the Bundesliga is not quite the same as like Palace and Wolves and things like that. But you still get playing against like
It's perfect
Bayern
as
and
well.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like imagine you're a starting name on the team sheet against Bayern. You're gonna that's a massive confidence boost
Definitely.
at that young age as well. So it's
Playing
perfect.
in the Europa League or Champions League or whatever as well, like it's literally perfect for them.
It's just the
Yeah.
experience you need.
Get
Definitely.
abroad if you're a young
Yeah.
player.
Yeah,
That's
do
what
it.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just
Phil
do it.
Foden, go on.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
I
I
feel-
honestly would love it if like obviously City have got a buyback clause on Sancho, so I'd be surprised if he doesn't end up going back. But why don't they do something like that with Foden?
Yeah, no, I think he should go out there.
Yeah.
He'd do sick as well, especially
Definitely.
like Spain or Germany or somewhere.
You know
Would
what they
be
need to bring
interesting.
here?
What?
VAR.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice little link.
So,
I enjoyed that.
well, we thought there's been a bit of news about VAR coming into the season potentially for 2019-2020. I think they were supposed to use it. I just read up then we were supposed to use it for like 15 games this season, but I don't know if that's happened. So,
So it never fully
No.
got
what
implemented.
does everyone think? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Everyone
Definitely a
agree?
good thing.
So I'm a little bit like in the unknown on how it's going to be used, but I think VAR's like a certainty for needing to be used.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
be left
I
behind
agree.
if everyone else will be doing it and we're not. Then we'll just be left behind.
Mm.
It was helped a lot of the World Cup and a lot of incidents recently, which it would have ruled out.
Yeah,
I do
well-
honestly think Charlie Austin is like a main factor in because
Yeah.
could
if
you
he's-
could you imagine the scene that he caused after that, and then they were said, oh, I don't think we actually
Exactly.
need VAR.
If he's not done that, there's not a bigger conversation about it at all,
Yeah.
which is good, and it's good to see because I've seen a lot of people criticizing him, saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be talking like that. You should be blah blah blah." But what's the point if
passion.
every football player is PR trained? There's no enjoyment. There's
Yeah.
no passion there. So I'm glad he's
Yeah,
glad he's
you
gone on
can
that
see
run.
how
Exactly,
annoyed he is about
and
it,
fair play because it's cost them a vital result.
Well, how many things has happened recently with VAR?
Sol
There was
Bamba.
the Austin
Oh.
one, Sol Bamba's handball.
Mane
The
goal.
The
Mane
Austin
goal
one
against Arsenal.
is, Yoshida's just nowhere near. The keeper's on one side of the goal, Yoshida's on the other. The ball falls to Austin's feet there. Like, anybody could tell you surely that he's not interfering with play.
That's the
at
thing.
all.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
But they get
definitely
it
is.
wrong. They need VAR there 100%.
But I hope that they do it the same way that, like, Serie A and the German league use it, with the goal goes in and then they get a message through in their ear saying, like, goal stands, rather than you should go and check this now. Because I feel like
Yeah, I agree.
in the back of your mind, if you're a referee and you're pretty confident on the decision that you've made, and then somebody goes, oh, I'm not sure, like, you might want to check it, you're running over thinking, like,
I've messed up.
I've made the wrong decision here, otherwise I wouldn't be going
Yeah.
over to check it. And then
Yeah.
you've got the whole stadium waiting for you to respond.
Yeah,
The pressure from
players are
there's
waiting.
like ridiculous.
Especially because we're not just talking about obvious decisions as well. Like, even with VAR, there's a lot of decisions where you think, you know what, I'm still really not sure.
That is the
and
problem
that's just
with VAR,
football.
though.
That's just football. Whereas, like, I feel like you said, if you've got other people helping him out as opposed to just solely you making that decision, it's a little bit easier. Like you say, it does take the pressure off.
Yeah,
the ref.
I agree with Ben. I think there should be, how Howard Webb does it for BT or Sky now, and they refer to him and like ask for his opinions. If they have someone like that who's reviewing VAR for them, like on a panel, straight away you can get the decision done. Tell the referee, he knows, decision's done.
Yeah.
Game continues
And
as it should.
saves the minute that it takes for the
Yeah,
ref to
yeah.
run from the
Plus,
edge of the
that's
box.
just putting unnecessary pressure on the
Some
ref.
of the added
Like,
times
the
at the
fan-
World Cup were ridiculous as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
They had like
just because
12 minutes
people-
added on because the ref's taking 5 minutes to look at this and speak to people.
I do find it a bit like, the decisions where half of they go to the BT Sport panel at half time and half of them are like, I wouldn't have given it, and the other half are like, I would have given it. And then I think, what's going to happen there? But more often than not, it's going to be helping, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think with offsides especially, is like, why on earth should the linesman be the only person that's trying to do something that's going like, I mean, how fast does like Adama Traore run, for example? You're talking
Yeah.
about
Can't
like
keep up with him.
Exactly.
milliseconds, and you're not going to be able to keep up with
It's
him.
not normal if a linesman is always in perfect position like that.
Yeah, no,
That's not
it is-
possible.
It's a hard job.
It's not
and
possible.
They do need help. I mean, I think a really good example is the Vardy and Bamba situation, right? Because when you watch that back, it's unclear as to whether Vardy's onside or offside with the naked eye. So you need VAR there just to start with, right? And then Vardy hits the ball and it hits Bamba's hand. The ref misses that. The linesman misses that Vardy's offside or potentially offside. You need VAR to get to the bottom of that because
Yeah, it all happened so quick.
yeah,
as
it
well.
all
So
happens so
yeah.
quick.
Multiple
and you
things
can't
at
decide
once.
straight away because there's two incidents there, which they've both got wrong. The
The-
ref's got the
yeah.
handball wrong. The linesman may have got the offside wrong. So they need the help there. So I do think it needs to be implemented.
100%.
Yeah,
And I mean,
definitely.
especially with it being in the Champions League next year, it's in the Nations League next year, it's in Serie A, La Liga, German League.
Like you said, Ted.
If we're going to be the biggest league in the world, you can't be like falling
Exactly.
behind with the technology.
Exactly.
and
Like
stuff.
it has to be a thing because you can't, like you said, you can't be the best league in the world without it. It's just it is part of the modern
Yeah, it's
advancement of football. That's
yeah.
it. Simple.
How good it works well in the NFL and things like that, though. I know obviously the problem there is like the NFL is like it is either you've broken the rule or you've not. It's not necessarily as contentious as it can be with the Prem. But I feel like the quicker you start using it, the quicker you're going to perfect it.
Exactly.
So just get it going.
Implement
like,
it and work on it whilst it's in the game. Don't wait until you found the perfect thing because you're always going to find a problem with it. Just keep
Yeah.
going. But that's
True.
that's the whole
And it's
thing.
been in rugby for years, and there there can be similarities there with like tackles, like whether it's
Exactly.
red card or whatever. But
It's a work in progress, isn't it?
it's worked in rugby well, so why
Yeah.
can't it work in football?
Yeah.
I think people just really like traditional things in football, don't they?
Mhm.
Like, oh, the referee should have the last say or whatever. But what?
You can see now the referees
But-
need help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but when we're
definitely.
exactly, and when we're talking about decisions, like let's say for example, that Charlie Austin one, the whole Southampton thing, it's cost them a point, like he says. But let's just say in an extreme case, that's the last game of the season,
Or
and it's to win a title or so, and you don't have that,
Or
right?
like Southampton could be going down.
Exactly,
Yeah.
or just think of the
think-
ongoing consequences of that, like in terms of like just like everything to do with money, like finance, everything.
playoff final. Like
Exactly.
that's a £1 billion game, isn't it?
Exactly.
Imagine if you lost that because of an offside goal, you'd be like, "What is VAR doing?"
Exactly. It's just I feel like it has to be a thing. I'm glad we all agree on it. I'd like to think most people agree on it. It's just one,
Yeah.
like we said, it's one of them things needs to be implemented, but I'm sure it will. And it's looking promising for next season. So, yeah, I think that
Yeah.
about wraps it up for us. Around
See
the
if all our
30-minute
predictions
mark.
are right next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've all gone pretty much the same anyway, haven't we? So,
We'll all be on about the
yeah, we'll
same
see.
points.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Tune in next
Yeah,
week
thank
to
you.
see,
Cheers.
see if we're right.
Yeah, see you later.
See you later.